You know what's terrifying? Waking up one morning to find that your $80,000 luxury car is now worth less than a used Toyota Camry. And I'm not talking about some distant future. This is happening right now in 2026. 7 cars that were once the pride of driveways across America and Europe are now sitting on dealership lots, collecting dust, their values evaporating faster than water in the desert. Stick with me until the end, because if you own one of these cars or you're thinking about buying one used, what I'm about to tell you could save you from making the biggest financial mistake of your life. Let me start with a story. Last month, I met a guy named Marcus in Stockholm. Successful entrepreneur, always drove the best cars. 2 years ago, he bought a brand new electric SUV. Top of the line, all the bells and whistles. Cost him nearly 900,000 kroner. Last week, he tried to trade it in. The dealer offered him 280,000. Marcus thought it was a joke. It wasn't. His car had lost almost 70% of its value in just 2 years. And Marcus isn't alone. This is happening to thousands of people across Sweden, the UK, and the United States. So what's going on? Why are these specific cars becoming worthless overnight? Let's talk about the first one, and this might shock you. The Jaguar I-PACE. Yes, Jaguar's first serious electric vehicle. When it launched, automotive journalists were praising it left and right. It won awards, it looked stunning. But here's the problem. Jaguar is essentially dying as a brand. They've announced they're going fully electric and reinventing themselves completely, which sounds great until you realize they've stopped supporting their existing models properly. Parts are becoming scarce, software updates are inconsistent, and the resale market has completely collapsed. I've seen 2019 I-PACEs listed for less than $20,000, cars that cost $70,000 new. That's not depreciation, that's a financial catastrophe. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that's just one electric car from a struggling brand. But here's where it gets interesting. The second car on this list is the Chevrolet Bolt. And this one hurts because the Bolt was actually a good car. Reliable, decent range, affordable. So why is it worthless now? 2 reasons. First, GM discontinued it, then undiscontinued it, creating complete chaos in the market. Nobody knows what's going on with the Bolt anymore. Second, and this is the killer, battery technology has advanced so rapidly that the Bolt's battery feels ancient. New electric cars are getting 400, 500 miles of range. The Bolt gets maybe 250 on a good day. And here's the thing about electric cars. Unlike gasoline cars where you can tune the engine or modify things, you can't upgrade a battery pack. You're stuck with what you bought. So used Bolts are sitting unsold because buyers are asking themselves, why would I buy a 2020 Bolt with outdated battery tech when I can get a new EV with twice the range for not much more money? Let me tell you about the third car, and this one's gonna upset some people. The Maserati Ghibli. The Ghibli. When it first came out, everyone wanted one. It had that Italian flair, that beautiful Maserati badge, that gorgeous design. But here's what nobody told buyers. Maserati built the Ghibli to be a volume seller, which means they cut corners, a lot of corners. These cars have been plagued with electrical issues, transmission problems, and maintenance costs that would make a Ferrari owner blush. I'm talking $2,000 oil changes. And the market has caught on. Right now, you can find 2017 Ghiblis for under $25,000. These cars stickered for over $70,000 when new. The depreciation curve looks like a cliff. And insurance companies have started catching on too, raising rates because these cars are expensive to repair and they break down constantly. But let's move to something different. The fourth car is the BMW i3. Now, I actually like the i3. It's quirky, it's interesting, it was ahead of its time in some ways, but being ahead of your time in the car industry can be a curse. The i3 has a carbon fiber body, which sounds premium until you realize that if you get into even a minor accident, the repair costs are astronomical. Insurance companies have literally totaled i3s over fender benders because carbon fiber repair is so specialized and expensive.
Plus, BMW discontinued it in 2022, and parts are already becoming hard to find. The range was never great to begin with, maxing out around 150 miles, and now with the used market flooded with them and no manufacturer support, values have cratered. I've seen i3s listed for less than $10,000 that sold for $45,000 new.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The fifth car is the Nissan Leaf. And I know what you're thinking. Wait, the Leaf is one of the best-selling electric cars ever made. How can it be worthless? Here's the brutal truth. Early Nissan Leafs have a massive problem that Nissan never fully addressed. The battery degradation is catastrophic. Unlike Tesla and other manufacturers who liquid cool their batteries, the Leaf uses air cooling, which is completely inadequate. I've seen 2015 Leafs that have lost 40 or 50% of their battery capacity. Imagine buying a used Leaf thinking you're getting 100 miles of range, and you're actually getting 50. The market has figured this out, and now used Leafs are practically being given away. You can find them for $5,000, $6,000. And here's the kicker. Replacing the battery costs more than the car is worth.
Now, let's talk about the sixth car, and this one's controversial, the Tesla Model S. Wait, what? Tesla? Yes, but specifically, we're talking about pre-2016 Model S vehicles. Here's why. Tesla has been so aggressive with software updates and new hardware that older Model S cars are essentially obsolete. They don't have autopilot capabilities of newer models, the screens are slower, the battery chemistry is outdated, and the range has degraded significantly. Plus, Tesla has shown they're not particularly interested in supporting these older vehicles. Parts are expensive, and increasingly Tesla service centers are prioritizing newer vehicles. I've seen 2014 Model S cars with over 100,000 miles selling for less than $20,000. These were $80,000 to $100,000 cars when new. And now, the seventh car, the one that might surprise you the most, the Audi e-tron. Audi's first major electric vehicle push, launched with huge fanfare, positioned as the Tesla killer, except it didn't kill anything except its own resale value. The e-tron has 3 fatal flaws. 1, the range is mediocre, barely 200 miles in real-world conditions. 2, it's absurdly expensive to maintain. We're talking Audi luxury car maintenance costs on top of electric vehicle complexity. 3, Audi has already moved on. They're focused on their newer electric platforms, and the e-tron feels like yesterday's news. Depreciation has been savage. I've seen 2019 e-trons listed for $30,000. They cost over $75,000 new. That's a $45,000 loss in 5 years.
So what's the common thread here? What makes all these cars worthless? It's not just one thing. It's a perfect storm. First, we're in the middle of a massive transition period in the automotive industry. Electric vehicle technology is advancing so fast that cars from even 3 or 4 years ago feel ancient. Second, manufacturers are being forced to innovate so quickly that they're abandoning older models and platforms faster than ever before. Third, the used car market for electric vehicles hasn't matured the way it has for gasoline cars. People don't know how to value a used EV. They're scared of battery degradation, worried about repair costs, concerned about range. And fourth, and this is the big one, government incentives are making new electric cars so affordable that used ones can't compete. Think about it. If you can get a brand new electric car with the latest technology, full warranty, 300 miles of range for $35,000 after federal and state incentives, why would you buy a used electric car from 2018 with questionable battery health, no warranty, and 150 miles of range for $25,000? You wouldn't, and that's why these cars are becoming worthless. But here's what really keeps me up at night. This is just the beginning. In the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to see a wave of used electric vehicles from the 2017 to 2020 era hitting the market. Cars that people leased and are now returning. Cars that people bought and now want to upgrade. And the market is going to be flooded. Values are going to collapse even further.
If you think a 70% depreciation is bad, wait until you see what happens when supply massively outpaces demand. So, what's the lesson here? If you're thinking about buying one of these cars used because the price seems too good to be true, remember, it probably is. That bargain Jaguar I-PACE might seem like a steal until you need a $15,000 battery replacement. That cheap Nissan Leaf might look great until you realize its actual range is half of what's advertised. And if you currently own one of these cars, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but your best move might be to sell now before values drop even further, because the market for these vehicles isn't recovering, it's only getting worse. The automotive world is changing faster than ever before, and these 7 cars are the casualties of that change. They're the cautionary tales, the examples of what happens when technology moves too fast and manufacturers can't keep up. So, before you make your next car purchase, remember Marcus and his 70% loss. Remember that not all cars are created equal, and in 2026, some cars aren't just depreciating, they're becoming worthless. That's the cold, hard truth about these 7 cars. Drive safe, choose wisely, and I'll see you in the next one.